which nutrients do we need? What should we eat to lose weight rather than gain it?
Well, our bodies have certain nutrients that we must consume that we can't make on our own, and it's important to be aware of these things like fiber, essential fatty acids, essential amino acids. Essential fatty acids are a type of fat that you'll find in, for example, walnuts, other kinds of seeds and nuts, wild-caught fish. There's a relatively short list. People may have heard of maybe omega-3, omega-6s, so it's a blend of these. We need some of each. Most people are having too many omega-6s comparative to 3s. That creates an inflammation syndrome. Inflammation tends to do about everything bad you could possibly imagine, including making it harder to lose weight and easier to gain weight. So that is an important thing to be aware of. Structuring your day about getting enough macronutrients, i.e. good fats, good proteins, good carbohydrates that are fiber rich. For instance, olive oil, avocados, walnuts. For example, those are all containing healthy polyunsaturated fats and other things. Protein, you could do vegetarian or animal source protein here. Quality matters for everything. So it needs to be preferably organic, pasture raised, grass fed. People have heard of some of these terms. It impacts greatly actually the ratio of nutrients in the respective food, whether it's an egg or a piece of meat or a piece of fish. So farm raised salmon is very different than wild caught salmon. So paying attention to those things, building your meal around protein, fat, and then I mentioned fiber and good carbohydrates. So things like vegetables, lower sugar fruits like berries, for instance. Some starches may be okay for people, especially if they're not trying to lose weight as much.
Starches is like a
heavier carbohydrates, so it could be, and these are all gradations because it depends on the food and the serving size, but squash is a carbohydrate. It's starchier than, for example, broccoli, but less starchy than a sweet potato or a white potato or rice.
Why shouldn't I eat pizza, pasta, bread?
Some people may be able to have some of those, again, depending on where they are in the health spectrum and what their goals are. There isn't one food that you can't necessarily have once in a while, at least. But the problem is if you're having heavy starchy foods every day, the majority of people are just not simply going to need that much, and so you're going to exceed your needs for the day, and thus when you exceed it, you put it into storage, which is fat. We have very little storage system for carbohydrates, a few days worth at most in the muscles and the liver, and that's it. So if you've already stocked that up, which most people did years ago, if you continue to overconsume, it just turns into fat, and then you're struggling with that weight gain, becoming more overweight, heading towards obesity, which is now, nearly 70% of the country is overweight or obese.
And what about sugars? That's not good either.
So again, quality matters. So naturally occurring sugars, for example, like in a piece of mango, would be certainly preferable to high fructose corn syrup in a soda, which is a very manufactured, manipulated sugar, which spikes your fasting glucose and insulin way up faster than a whole food-based one would. So again, it's not that you can't necessarily have any quote-unquote sugar, but in terms of added refined sugars, they do really nothing to benefit us health-wise. So I am quite a stickler about people paying attention to labels and looking at what things have added sugar. And there's so many names now that food manufacturers use to disguise sugar as well. So it's not just cane sugar or high fructose corn syrup. It could be a multitude of other names. In fact, it's close to 70 names that they can use for sugar. So you need to become what I call a PhD in label reading, knowing what your foods mean. Aim for foods that have a much shorter ingredient list, and if you don't know what something is, it's probably not a good idea to consume it.
One of your recommendations is that for lunch and dinner, half of our plate should be above ground vegetables?
So beyond fat, protein, fiber, water, carbohydrates include fiber. Those are your macronutrients, your big volume items that we consume as part of our meals every day. Micronutrients are all the little tiny things like we call minerals, vitamins, phytochemicals, in especially whole plant foods. So you need to eat real plant foods to get a lot of these things. And again, preferably organic, preferably locally raised when possible, because the longer something sits on a shelf, the more it degrades. They've done studies with comparing conventional and organic produce. To varying degrees, organic produce exceeds conventional in terms of mineral and vitamin content, so you get more per bite of whatever you're eating. And then you mentioned the above ground veggies. These tend to be lower starch, higher micronutrient vegetables. For example, kale, broccoli, spinach, etc. They're all stars when it comes to the nutrients they provide, for the calories and other things that they give you. So that's, I think, really important for people to be aware of.
Awesome. Well, at the app we have more than 100 recipes for delicious breakfasts, lunch, dinner that are not only delicious but help you lose weight because of all the our recommendation on all the ingredients that Eric was just describing. Eric, thank you so very much. If you would like to receive notifications the next time that we post similar videos, just click on the bell next to subscribe. And then, of course, comment, like, and share so we can help as many people as possible with this content. Thank you. If you like this video, please share with those friends who can benefit from this content. Obesity is this century's #1 killer. We are on a quest to eradicate it and need your help. Subscribe to not miss our upcoming videos and add your comments or questions below, or a topic you would like us to discuss. Thumbs up are always appreciated. Lastly, consider accepting our challenge. Lose 7 pounds in 3 weeks, or your money back. Discover the only program to regain your dream weight and health, and keep them forever. ActibHealth.com. Thank you for watching. We'll meet again soon.